Brother Anderson, now this is how we keep the Sabbath day holy. Yeah? Get Exodus chapter 20, you know what I want? Verse 8. The commandment for the Sabbath is very important. All nations going to keep it. But because we are the one God gave it to, we are the one first have to master it. Yeah? Master how to keep the Sabbath day holy, and then we can enforce it the right time on the other nations. Because they move when we move. You understand that? Read this.
The book of Exodus chapter 20.
This is one of the law how to return to God.
And verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
God says, remember. Remember. He know a day is coming like this. We're going to forget the Sabbath day. Yeah? So when the day come like this in this generation, we don't know any history about our forefathers. God says, identify yourself and remember. Yeah? Read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. For the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord.
God gave us 6 days. From Sunday to Friday sundown. 6 days to do anything that you want to do. But the 7th day.
Read. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
You understand? In it, any civil work that you get paid or any work, God says it's a day of rest. Don't do it. Yeah? Read.
Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is.
So God made heaven and earth in 6 days. He worked 6 days. The 7th day God himself rested. Ordained that day that my chosen people is also a rest day for you. You understand that? So even if you have animals that work for you, like in the olden days we have big cattle that plow the land. You understand that? So animals that work for you don't have to work. Laborers, slaves that you have don't have to work. It's a rest for you and your household, the house of Israel. Apostles did the same thing we're doing on the Sabbath day. Because a Sabbath day we flee God's people from captivity. Does that make sense? So we're doing good, but we're not working. Does that make sense? Reader.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 58 and verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my
doing your own pleasure on a Sabbath day. Like, what's the football team in Nottingham? Nottingham Forest. Let's say they're playing football today. You have to buy a ticket and go and sit there, right? That's a pleasure. Or you sit at home, buy beer and watch on the TV. It's a pleasure, right?
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today.
Read.
If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own way.
So the Sabbath, God wants you not to do your own things. So that means you're not doing your own thing, your own pleasure. Read on.
Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth.
See that? Keeping the Sabbath day is keeping God's commandment. If we keep all God's commandment, we rule the planet Earth. You understand that? We rule the planet Earth with all people in it. That's we keep the Sabbath day. So my brother, keeping the Sabbath day is part of giving God's commandment. And we keep God's commandment, we are ordained to govern the earth. We are breaking God's commandment because we are in captivity because we break God's commandment. Does that make sense? All praises.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
Be strong in the Lord. His word